Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to call the meeting of June 26, 2025 to order. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the state of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in the following manner. Advance written notice has been posted on the Egg Harbor City Bulletin Board. It's been posted on the Egg Harbor City website and has been sent to the Hamilton Gazette and the Atlantic City Press. Number 4 is roll call.
Mayor Gepetti,
Here.
Clark,
Here.
Dash,
Here.
Dovey,
Here.
Galloway,
I'm here.
Heist,
Here.
Hesse, Keener,
Here,
Here.
Hibbert,
here,
Right.
Hester's here.
she's on Zoom.
Hesse. Okay.
Here.
Okay, number 5 on the agenda, approve the minutes of June 12th council meeting. Is there a motion? Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, number 6 on our agenda is public comment on agenda items. Anyone here has any comments on any agenda items? Seeing none, we'll go to number 7, the mayor's comments.
Okay, so tonight I do have a report for the lake, a preliminary report. So the badges that we sold so far were 587 in all different forms. Or no, I'm sorry, 2,127 in all different forms with a total of $28,010. Picnics, 71 in total for $3,970. 18 boat rides and gazebos, $180, and the total sales to date is $32,160. The same sales from at the same date from last year were $60,910 for a variance of $28,750. We got our first campground payment of $5,643 brings the total revenue for lake operations in all forms $37,803. So as many of you know, we had a cold, wet several weekends. I think every weekend it rained. I think that was one of the reasons the sales were lower, and also sales at City Hall were significantly lower this year. What else? Okay, I have the chief's not going to be here tonight, so she will have her official her statistical report next week or next meeting. But I can report that our emergency operations plan, it's called an EOP, has been completed and signed by all the appropriate people. I thank Captain Perna for that. He did an outstanding job. And as you know, our police department runs OEM now, which is Office of Emergency Management. So that's quite a feat what he did. So thanks to him.
Question about that. Is there anything in there about heat and like cooling centers and all that?
Yeah. Hopefully you'll get a chance to read it once it's finalized, because he still has to look over this. I can't distribute, or I would have, but you should be able to get one. I think, not sure, but maybe. Just a reminder, upcoming events, fireworks at the lake on the 19th. The lake will close at 6 p.m. as always to prepare for the fireworks. The lake citywide yard sale is a free event. It's on August 2nd. The rain date will be August 3rd. You can put out your stuff from I believe it's 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And also come out and support the firemen if you make some money at your yard sale. They're having their annual spaghetti dinner on August 7th. It's eat in or take out, and I believe that starts at 4 o'clock. And that's all I have. Thank you.
I have a question for the mayor.
Okay.
Mayor, I was just wondering, I was out at the lake the other day. The PA system, that's not up and running yet, or they're not using it, or it did it?
Well, I asked Jeremy to come and look at it, and he said when he gets in town, he will.
Okay, I was just wondering. It's a little I know last year,
Yeah.
it's. a
There's
little more-
nobody there. to use it,
Yeah, a little
so-
more complicated than
Yeah.
what we expected, so I'm wondering
Right.
if there's an easier way to use it where you could just have to hold the microphone and
Yeah,
say,
that's what I asked Jeremy.
stop jumping off the dock, you know, or
Yeah,
stop.
well,
jumping something.
that's not really gonna help because you cannot have the lifeguard leave their stand to go
Right,
there.
I figured if they could walkie-talkie into the
what
manager.
what that could be used for is what I decided was that if there is an emergency and you have to clear the lake,
Right,
that's the time that would be in place because that is more of a broadcast. But as
absolutely.
far as management of the water and the customers, the lifeguards cannot leave the water to do something like that.
Yeah, I know I was out
So-
there the other day and there was a bunch of guys out on the dock and they were,
Yeah, well, we have
And they-
4 megaphones
and
out
they
there.
were flipping and the kids they were trying on the megaphones. They really were. They were yelling and these guys out there were just bigger and louder and they were not hearing them and
No, I guarantee they were hearing them, they just ignored
Yeah.
them, and then that's the time you call the police.
yeah, they finally paddled out and then they shut the dock and it, you know, but it was, you know,
It's not a delivery method problem, it's a.
it was a listening problem.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
So yeah, when Jeremy comes, I'll get that, make sure that if there is an emergency, we have a mechanism to broadcast it to the whole lake.
yeah.
But I haven't heard
I
back
was just
from,
hoping it wasn't broken already. That was my,
Yeah.
you know, my biggest concern.
well, I hope it isn't, I'll find out when Jeremy comes.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? No?
No, I mean,
Okay. Council committee chairs, start with Councilwoman Hesse for safety, code enforcement, and Rotary.
I don't have anything for safety. Code, I just want to commend the department for doing a great job and for Jerry overseeing them and directing them. I think they're really off to a good start here. That's all I have to say for code and Rotary. I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Galloway for property and sustainable.
Nothing for property tonight. I just wanted to make an announcement that the Green Team purchased Monarch Butterfly Way Station signs.
can I have a
We
picture of that?
we
please?
bought 5 of them and they're gonna be put in areas where the milkweed is growing. I was driving down Deer Street the other day and I came across a big patch of milkweed. I was so excited when I saw it that I went right home and ordered the signs. So if anybody knows where milkweed is growing in the wild or on public property or anything like that, let me know and we can put a way station sign there. It just basically says this is milkweed and this is a way station for the monarch butterfly, just to create awareness that, you know, we're trying to help the monarchs, which are dwindling in numbers. Regarding the Peace Pilgrim statue, we did get confirmation from the foundry that they are working on cleaning up the mold, so that may be cast soon. We won't have it for Peace Pilgrim celebration July 19th, but we might have it in time for the International Day of Peace, which is September 21st. And for anyone who's a mosquito magnet like me, I posted something on our Facebook page today, Sustainable EHC. It's called the Mosquito Bucket Challenge, and it's a simple way to mosquito-proof your yard and your garden. So I'm not going to tell you how to do it. You could just go to the click the link and it'll take you to the page, and it's really simple instructions and it's kind of cute, kind of like the rain barrel idea for mosquitoes. And there's no meeting until September. That's all I have.
Can you put that on the official city Facebook page also? And send me a picture of your sign when it goes up?
Okay, thank you. Councilman Timbers for ordinance, land use board and Aaron Hoffman.
Nothing to report, other than, there was a land use board meeting. I was unable to attend. I assume if anything, happened at the meeting, Brian will go over it.
Thank you. Mr. Dovey, for DPW.
I have nothing to report. I'll defer it to the administrator when he gives his report. There have been a number of public works challenges over the last couple of weeks, but they seem to be in hand.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Clark, School Board.
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
Anybody else have a report back? I just have one thing from finance or city council. It's been the practice of this council to cancel the summertime second meetings of the month. So we were looking at the calendar and July 24th and August 28th meetings. If it's council's pleasure, that we would like to cancel those 2 meetings. Is there a motion to do that?
Dates? What was the August?
28th, July 24th and August 28th. And we worked it out with the business that we have. And we think we can do it with the meetings, the first part of the meeting, the second week of the month, Thursdays.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Meg, I wanted to call you. I won't be here August 28th.
Wasn't doing here.
All right, so the chief don't have a.
She does not, no,
Okay.
she's not feeling well.
That was number 9 on the agenda. Number 10 is the CFO.
I do not have anything, thank you.
Okay, thank you. City clerk?
Nothing.
Nothing. This is going quick.
So far.
Ryan, I thank you for the report, and you're gonna have to get a second page.
We're getting close.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
our engineer report, please.
Sure. So there's the stuff, so I'll just go through like the active ones. Archway Green, they're moving along. We requested a schedule update, but we're still anticipating that to be done prior to the events in August. So wrapping up at some point in July. The lake ADA improvements, we requested a meeting with the Finance Commission for the week of July 7th. So we're gonna try to pin down a date that week. Wasn't able to get anything on the calendar this week, and next week is not gonna be good. Let's see. The iBank Stormwater Project, we're trying to work with your bond council. iBank has a funding mechanism where you guys are eligible for $3 million in principal forgiveness. You have to bond for money and then spend it. And essentially, they forgive the bonds immediately. So we're working through all the process and all the machinations with that.
Wasn't there an issue with that though, with the state?
Well, we were trying to qualify under the FY25 funding and the FY26 funding, and we had everything ready in time to qualify for the FY25, but they had so much on their plate, they kind of told us like, we're not going to get to, it's just not going to happen. So the new fiscal year is June 30th, so we were trying to be like first in line for the FY26 funds.
Good.
So we're working through that. I was hoping to have the introduction for this week, didn't work out, so we'll be introducing that in July. Construction of East Wake Street, you guys authorized us to construct East Wake Street between Brandon and Baltimore, so we're working on the design for that. We're going to get the PSLE package in the next month or so. Weisbecker demo, Jerry reached out and started confirming and coordinating utility shutoffs. Everything was already shut off, but some of the stuff wasn't documented in the way that it needs to be.
Right.
So that should be finalized in the next weeks or so. In conversation we have with the contractor, they estimate it's going to take 2-3 weeks potentially, all said and done. So they don't want to open it up before the food truck festival. They're not going to be totally done. So originally they were looking at starting, the first or second week of July, potentially, depending on when we get this utility clearance. They may just hold off until after the food truck festival, so they're not, open it up and have a big mess for that.
So I have 3 of the 4 clearances already.
Right, it was just
I'm
the
waiting
water,
for
right?
ACE. No, water and sewer were done. I
Okay,
have gas that came in today, and then I'm waiting for ACE.
okay. I know we should probably reach out to Gary Hesselbeck because he coordinated getting it shut off a while ago. Meters are pulled.
It's all shut off. I told you, you just don't have proof of it, but
Right,
it's shut off.
right. We just need the letter for the file.
Been shut off.
Yeah.
New Jersey American, I think, replied back that it shut off at the, the valve was shut off, the meters removed, but they're gonna physically remove the service, I think, back to the main at some point soon.
Yeah. I'm not excavating, right? That's what.
Correct. We're
Not
just doing the minimal amount of excavation.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So that shouldn't impact anything they're doing. The key rack improvements, we gotta roll that into our meeting, which should be the week of July 7th. Pickleball courts are done. Still a couple punch list items, I believe, for that,
I
right?
started working on that today.
Okay, good. Brownfield stuff, we should have a proposal for you to start the HCSRF investigations. Probably the next meeting. That ties in with number 8, which is the redevelopment plan for Antwerp Avenue landfill. We've had a lot of interest from solar developers. We've had discussions about the capability to designate someone as the redeveloper for that site. But as we dug a little further, it turns out that the industrial park appears to have never had a redevelopment plan for it. It was just established through other means. So we are using the citywide designation as an area in need of rehabilitation as the basis to come up with a redevelopment plan for that landfill. Once we have that redevelopment plan, the city can engage with redevelopers and work towards having them close the landfill and pay for the landfill closure and then develop a solar project on it afterwards. So this is sort of the first step of that.
I had a question about that.
Yeah.
Do we have to do an RFP for that?
We do not have to do an RFP for that. That's an option. But we have to have a redevelopment plan in order to designate a redeveloper either by RFP or directly.
So we definitely need to development plan.
Yeah, no matter which route we're going, we need
And
this.
what's the time frame to get something like that finished?
We're gonna try to turn around in a month. So we're gonna try to have it ready. We're the one meeting in July. It'll probably be finalized in August. So relatively short.
Yeah, I think it's important to get that rolling because you want to get in the pipeline
Correct.
in
Yeah.
case there are any changes in funding.
Yeah, it appears that the federal incentives may be phasing out over time. What the schedule is a bit murky at the moment, but it seems headed in that direction. So the faster we can get on track, the better position we are.
Thank you.
Sure. Master plan re-exam, we have that draft recirculated, so we need to sort of circle back to that and get some of the recommendations to the finish line. The area in need of redevelopment study for the North Subdivision. The redevelopment plan for the North Subdivision has expired at this point and needs some revisions. So we started to look into updating it and then sort of simultaneously confirmed that it is a redevelopment plan for an area in need of rehabilitation. So that sort of limits the city's options a little bit in working with redevelopers. So we are working on the area in need of redevelopment study so that we could make the determination that it is an area in need of redevelopment. And then the redevelopment plan would apply to that instead of just the rehabilitation designation. So the council referred that to the planning board at our last meeting. The planning board directed us to move forward with it. So we are working on it now. Meg was able to get an ad in for this Saturday and the following Saturday. So we are planning to have it ready for the July 15th planning board meeting, and then it will come back to council. So
First meeting in August.
yeah, exactly. The next available meeting.
What's the ad for?
The advertisement, you have to advertise the blocks and lots and essentially that you're conducting a study for
Oh, okay.
for a determination of an area in need of redevelopment.
Okay.
Notice.
Right, yeah, it's just a ad in the press link city, because we couldn't time it with the Hamilton Gazette. So, but it was Wednesday by the time we were able to get the ad together, so they only publish every other Wednesday.
Yeah, well,
Right, but-
they've been really slow on legals at the press, and I had one town that I cover
Right.
had to delay public hearings on like 4 ordinances because they didn't get advertised.
Yes, we
Or-
have experienced that numerous times now.
I heard thing, so.
Yeah, I was shocked that they gave us that one, so, yeah, I'm not gonna count our chickens before they're hatched, so hopefully it gets published Saturday, but that's the plan. What else? The last thing I have on here is not, any work that we're doing, but just a sort of update and summary for council. We met with the county, and French and Perillo, who's doing the bridge design, and CME, who's doing the bike path design, and Comcast and Verizon and Lanxey Electric, Jerry and I,
You should have
and
seen
the county.
Talk about dollars rolling right there. Big time.
Yeah, it was also 100+ degrees. So I got back in my car with 104. That was fun.
Hydrate.
So I'm
I found that out
today. Yes, continue to hydrate, very important. So the county at the end sort of summarized a timeline for their projects. They're anticipating bidding the bridge replacement project this winter and starting it early next year, January, February. So we talked about the impacts of draining the lake, and the timing for that, so we'll have to work with them on that. So they're gonna do the bridge project first, they're estimating that's going to take a year. They're gonna keep one travel lane open, so it'll be an automated traffic light. So you'll still be able to go back and forth, you'll just have to sit a light and wait for your turn to go back and forth.
Notice how he's looking at me as he's explaining this.
It really matters to one.
There's no shortcuts.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, well, yeah, not about short, but
They're
there's a way.
They're doing the non.
Oh, there's a will, there's a way.
Correct, they're
Yeah.
doing the north side of the lake first.
Yeah,
Once they finish with that, they'll have to move all the utilities from the south side of the lake to the north side of the lake, then they'll do the south side of the lake. And then there'll be one new bridge there.
Question, the draining of the lake.
Mhm.
It has to be drained during the whole project?
No, so
that's
the
what I-
only complication is the city there will be no control of the lake level from the bridge during the project. So normally what we do is we drain the bottom half and we keep the top half full. We can't do that during the project. So we should drain the lake and do the devegetation, whatever we're doing, while we still have control. Because if their project's gonna go for a year, we won't be able to drain the lower half without also draining the upper half for a year. So my understanding is the upper half is stocked, and that draining it is not desirable.
Cause
So-
like, you typically have to have it drained by like November 15th and you have to have it
Yeah,
filled by
so-
February 15th.
Right, and it's only like a 30-day window or something that you get, right?
No.
Oh, you're allowed to do the
Like,
whole
yeah.
duration? Okay,
Well, the city doesn't, not to interrupt you, the
Yeah.
city doesn't stock the lake, just so you know.
correct, but the
So it
lake
could
is,
be prevented from being stocked if necessary,
no, so
right?
well, yeah, but it shouldn't be necessary unless we, the only situation would be if we needed to drain the entire lake, which not be really desirable, I don't.
Well, we drain it every year, so.
Well, yeah, we typically drain the.
Yeah, I'm saying. Well,
Right,
they always complain that that one drains too.
well, yeah,
some
because the
reason.
stop logs weren't really working properly,
Okay.
but technically that bridge is a dam, and then there's another dam
I
downstream,
got you.
with the swimming portion.
Fixing that dam part, that's part of the project,
Yeah, they're gonna end up replacing that and it'll be,
because you tried to go in there with the boards and
Yeah,
you can't.
they're fixing that during this project.
right.
And
they'll
it
still
never,
provide-
it never drains completely on the one side.
Correct, it's still a stream that
Right.
flows through the middle there, but
Right.
we lower the water levels.
And it does keep the fish in there, so.
Yeah, but if we were to drain the upper half, you've essentially gotten rid of the fish up there, and then, I don't know how well they would do on the lower half.
Right.
But anyway, so the bridge will go first, that'll take about a year. Then the county is positioned to repave the road, which I believe will be from Route 30 out to the bridge. And then they're expecting the bike path to be able to move forward immediately after that. So you have.
They wouldn't do the bike path with the street. Wouldn't that make sense?
It's different.
I asked the same question.
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense.
It has to be the impervious surface though.
That's the problem.
So they're trying, yeah, they were trying to work out the timing. That was really the biggest issue, I think, was the bike path portion has still not been able to get Pinelands permitting. They're asking for additional design assistance funds on this agenda, which will go through DOT, so it won't cost you guys anything directly, but they're asking for more money to go out and do test pits and borings and all of that. So I think part of it has to do with the fact that that's not ready to go and the county doesn't want to continue to delay their project. They just want to say, this is what we're doing, you can go after us. The other part is that the bike path itself will be constructed of pervious pavement material, which is not what the rest of the road will be constructed with, and the base underneath of it will be different. So it's kind of two construction processes anyway. So it doesn't necessarily need to happen at the same time. And the whole road is designed with like umbrella drainage, where it's just a V shape and everything drains off to the side, so it's not critical to do it at the same time. So that's the schedule as they envision it, so I just wanted to share that with everybody. Last one thing, it'll be the land use board made a referral back to city council based off our last meeting. An applicant came in to construct a front access driveway, which is not permitted in the city's ordinance. We have waived a couple at city council, but for existing homeowners, because they're not at the land use board for any other reason. This gentleman built a brand new house and his original plan had a driveway on the front. The city approved plan in general, not really focusing on the driveway. And then when he asked about the driveway, he said, well, that's not actually permitted in the ordinance. You have to build it in the back. The complication is that there's no road behind him, it's just dirt. So didn't really seem fair to have require someone to put a parking pad or have their driveway out to a dirt road and a paved street right in front of them. And there were 6 or 8 other houses on the same street that all have front access driveways for some reason. So the referral back from the planning board to city council was to consider modifying that ordinance to only apply in situations where there's a paved terrace at the rear of the property. So someone just gets stuck in this hole where they're required to put a driveway, there is no road, and they have to come up with a board for relief from that requirement.
So did they give approval for that?
They did grant approval. In fact, the board solicitor kind of made the case for them at the very beginning and said, like, you don't have to approve this, but you can't really deny it. So yeah, they did ultimately approved as a design waiver.
Ryan, I was,
Yes.
part of me, Ryan,
Yeah, I can hear you.
I was at the meeting. I took Carl's place. And my question to you is, and the reason that I voted for it was, I thought you couldn't park on that street.
Can't.
And
So-
you can park on that street. Can
So
you
I-
not? I mean, I have seen people parking there and I don't see any signs and I don't see any ordinance stating that you cannot.
So
Unlike,
I was trying,
you know.
I was trying to pull that up during the hearing and I wasn't certain whether it was one way or the other. There's no parking on Deasterwick Street. I think that the misunderstanding that I don't know, the miscommunication, I guess, was that people are generally not parking on the street because its driveway is all up and down the street, with the exception of in front of this house. So I think what they were getting at is you can't really park in front on the street there because there's so many driveway cuts there that you can't really park there effectively. I think that's the point that they were trying to
They
make.
do, Ryan.
Go ahead.
That's not true though. I mean, I've been out there and people do park on the street.
Sure.
And I looked in the ordinance as well, and they have
Yeah,
Egg Harbor North in there that you can't, but they do
Yep.
not have that. They have many other things in there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
I
voted
agree.
only for that reason, because I believe that you said that you cannot
Mhm.
park on that street.
So that was what they presented. I tried to sort of fact check them in real time, but wasn't able to get through the ordinance in time in the hearing there. So I wasn't, to be frank, I wasn't certain whether whether that statement was correct or not. I was trying to verify that, but yeah, I think the guy misspoke. I don't think he intentionally misled the board, but it's certainly possible.
Good, thank you.
Sure.
Anything else, Ryan?
That's it.
I do have a couple questions.
Sure.
The Archway Green irrigation,
Yes.
what's the update on that?
I don't know. I'll have to talk to the MPP coordinator because we left the irrigation out of the bid because we were trying to keep prices down and we would pay probably 3 times as much if we had done it through the contract as we could do it sort of separately.
Because we talked about,
Isn't that on the bill list, Jody?
It's on, yeah, I was gonna say, it must have been done. It was on the bill list, so it's completed.
There you go.
okay,
I
so,
knew there was supposed to
had
be, I
emailed
just didn't
today.
know where it ended up.
yeah, that's really important because we're
I
wasting
think it
our
was
time.
RW Brown, right? Is that the?
Yeah, they're actually also the subcontractor to the prime contractor to do the landscape. So
And-
I'm sure they'll,
And also the Archway Green,
Mhm.
since that is not going, or no, the demolition on the Weisbecker building,
yes.
that's not gonna be done before the food truck. So something has to be done about the front of Weisbecker's. It's either has to be painted or we need to put a sheet of plywood on it and paint it, but that cannot happen at the food truck festival.
Okay.
Not that that's your problem, but Jerry, that might be your problem.
I have to put the girl back.
All right, I might just put the mural back,
Why don't you?
but I'm not doing it.
No,
Drapery, like at the,
yeah,
at the yacht.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
yeah, right.
And just to note about the project at the old dump out there, that would, which was something I didn't think of, if we do complete that, we would get property taxes on it if they put a solar farm, which is a good thing.
Correct.
And obviously the community solar will be a good thing. So it's a good project for everybody.
Yep.
And if, just for the general public here, just to explain the term community solar. Community solar is where the public gets to participate in the discounts that are offered. So if we did get a community solar project, you would be able to sign up as a resident, get a discount on your electric bill. So That's a good thing.
And then I just have a question for Jody. I heard Ryan say that CME was gonna apply for another design grant. Did you get any notice of that? Because they just got
Yeah, we emailed about that. That was the thing I think we had emailed about. They got approval
Yeah,
for the
but
additional.
are they, I'm confused because I felt like Ryan said they were gonna apply for more, but
Yeah.
they did actually get
Yeah,
the money, right?
It's on your ordinance, I think, to accept it.
Okay. Okay.
Agenda.
Their agenda, yeah, I'm sorry.
And Ryan, did they talk about, was the electric company was at the meeting too?
Yes.
Did they talk about when they're gonna start moving the poles? Cause that's gonna be a huge
So the
endeavor.
the only part that needs to happen, oh, for the bike path, you mean?
Yeah,
No,
They weren't?
CME's still working on that part with them.
cause that's gonna be a big holdup. I mean, unless you get on that now, it's not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Mayor, they're moving wires before they start moving poles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're gonna be switching wires from one side of the street to the other.
for the bridge, yes, yeah, for the, well, so for the bridge, they're only anticipating moving, relocating 5 total poles. To start the project, Verizon is the only one on the north side, so they gotta move Verizon to the south side first, to the north side of the bridge, move it over to the other side, and then they're just gonna leave them on the north side. For the bike path, a bunch of the poles need to be kicked one way or the other, so that they're out of the alignment of the bike path, or the bike lanes, I should say.
So Jerry, what's the process? What are we gonna do about that?
So I don't know if they're doing one side and they're pushing 10 feet in, or they're doing both sides of the poles, both sides of the street.
Well, I think maybe we need a meeting with the county, cause I don't know if we precipitate that or the county does or.
CME is conducting the design, so it's up to
Right.
them to determine which poles need to be moved and how
Right,
far.
but they should have that in their design already. That should be done. The only thing we should be waiting for is that last piece of it.
The storm.
And I haven't had an update from Mike McClellan, so I don't know.
And this
Yeah.
meeting, Mayor, was just about the bridge. We
Right.
didn't really talk about.
Correct.
Okay.
Sean was
Down
there.
towards Moss Mill. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
utilities for the rest of the.
didn't talk about that. So we
Okay.
do need a meeting for that, but I
Yeah.
don't know if anything's prepared or ready to be discussed
Yeah.
on their part.
Yeah.
We're not, right?
No, it would be, Sean Patterson was the representative.
Okay,
for
so
CME.
Matt.
He's the one doing that. We're working on that project.
Okay.
I just want to keep it on everybody's radar. I'll reach out to Mike McClellan again, but I haven't had much success.
Yes,
recently.
Sean Patterson is the guy who works for them who's actually like actively working on the project.
Right, well, Mike's boss,
Yeah.
so I'll call him. You can deal with Sean, so.
Ryan, I have a question.
Sure.
So when the Weisbecker property is demolished,
Mhm.
since it's adjacent to the Archway Green, how will the actual ground be left?
So the contractor is required to essentially remove everything from the foundation up. We're leaving in all the concrete, we're not digging any holes or any of that.
Right.
What's probably not obvious when you look at that building is the pad is more or less flat from the front of the building going back, and the ground slopes up multiple feet. So by the time you get to the back of the building, it's 3 feet down where like the foundation comes up and the
Okay.
actual grade is 3 feet higher. So the contractor is required to get clean fill and fill it to grade, and essentially just grade it so that it's roughly evenly graded towards the front of the site.
Okay,
So we've had discussions like, what do we want to do there? We want to put topsoil and seed. But ultimately, we want to preserve as much impervious cover as possible so that the next thing there doesn't have to deal with stormwater management. If
okay,
we can preserve the site as, 60, 70% impervious, the next thing that we get built there could be 60% impervious and not have to do any stormwater management.
okay.
So that's the objective, because you'll lose a whole bunch of that area to stormwater management if you lose that impervious cover credit.
So when they're done, it'll basically be just a dirt lot.
For all intents and purposes, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Anything else? Sorry.
No. I did have another question. I can't remember what it is, but
Not at all.
I'll ask you tomorrow.
Whatever, yeah.
All right, thank you. Administrator, number 13.
Thank you. I'll do DPW first. So obviously it's been tough week for the employees at the DPW, but they've worked through it. They got everything done. We're caught up on a lot of things that we lost a lot of time on with all the rain that we were having. The month of July, we'll be embarking on fresh, new, and replacing missing signs throughout all of our streets. We have this nifty program that Ryan didn't pay for, but got for us. And so we're using that now. And then, as I said, I was happy to learn that the punch list items at the pickleball courts are getting done. So that's good. As far as code, as Councilperson Hesse said, it was a very successful month for us. We were able to remove 3 abandoned junk cars off of people's properties that had been there for a long time. We unfortunately found one person living in the shed, and that was addressed. Numerous high grass resolutions have been resolved. And the most successful part was Monday, when a famous White Horse Pike business, Rich Saunders and I successfully defended an appeal by that individual at the County Construction Board of Appeals. So that was a good day, a good 2 hours I'll never get back in my life, but it was a good day. That's really it, unless anyone has any questions.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the RFQ or not? Not at this point?
Oh, no, not right now. No,
Okay.
I'll talk about that in July, at the July meeting in detail.
Okay.
How's our street sweeper doing? Has it been out lately?
So our newer one is in for repair right now, and our former street sweeper, which we repaired, will be out on Monday. So we missed one Monday, but it's been out every Monday hitting the streets.
Okay.
Yeah, it's working good. And we have the bigger street sweeper, like I said multiple times, and recurred multiple times.
Is that going to be like a regular thing where you're doing street sweeping on Mondays?
Yep. Street sweeping on
We
Monday.
need to get signage.
So we have,
Like no parking.
So we
on
have-
Monday between so and so.
we start with Philadelphia Avenue, and then we go through, because on Mondays you're prohibited from parking in Philadelphia Avenue from 3 AM to 6 AM. We get out there early in the morning and do Philadelphia Avenue, and then Raymond proceeds on with the other streets that he can do. So we haven't necessarily gotten into that, what you're talking about yet. We'll have to at some point,
Yeah.
but.
Great.
But where
Done many
are we
times.
gonna park? There's nowhere,
Yeah, so that's right. So
it gets impossible.
we've done many of the side
Like in the
streets.
alleyway?
Truthfully, we haven't done any avenues because they're pretty much bumper to bumper on the avenues as far as parking. But Raymond has done quite a few side streets, and then of course we've done parking lots, like Barnes parking lot, and those kinds of parking lots that we're used to build. Mondays are day to sweep, Nanette.
Okay, well, I'll park in back on Mondays.
Okay,
Because it never fails. They come up the street and they go around my car.
yeah.
And I am the only house that has a dirt on it.
In front.
Everybody else is clean.
Anything else, Jerry?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question. Crusaders Field, the announcement booth. Yeah, so are the doors and the locks?
I'm sorry, I should have added that. So we are putting in a new door that has been contracted and should be up within the next few days.
Okay.
If not by the end of next week. We've contracted and issued a PO for the announcer gates. Raymond and I went in there to try to work on the ceiling, but we realized that the insulation was not appropriate to be there.
Mhm.
So we're replacing all the insulation, and we've ordered, and Lowe's has our ceiling tiles,
Okay.
which are gonna be like bathroom weatherproof, kind of moisture-proof ceiling tiles.
Mhm.
And then our electrician has provided us a quote. So everything is set, and slowly things will get done, definitely by the end of July.
Okay,
By the end
yeah,
of July, Ingrid, everything will be done.
okay,
Yeah, so we have all those pieces of that puzzle in motion right now.
all right, yeah, because we already started the practices and we're starting to clean up
Good,
the
okay.
concession stand and the gear shop, and I just want to make sure that I'm not gonna either be locked out
No,
or not be able to get into the announcement booth, because that lock is
no,
one or two turns away from not
so there
working.
were several individuals who said we should keep that lock until the person who's changing the door said, there's no way we're keeping that lock.
Okay,
So it'll be a new lock and everyone will have to have new keys.
okay,
Yeah, you won't have that issue. And you're getting a roll down gate for the,
the one facing the field.
yeah, one facing,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. And then the up on top are roll down gates as well, instead of those boards that get hung to the ceiling,
Right,
they're roll down gates now.
and the ceiling, is that upstairs and downstairs that you guys are doing the ceiling?
Just upstairs.
Just upstairs,
Just
okay,
upstairs with new LED lighting throughout the whole ceiling.
upstairs, okay,
So it won't be a dungeon looking thing anymore.
yeah, with the
It'll
wood
be-
paneling, yeah,
Yeah, no, so the paneling's getting painted,
okay,
all right?
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Number 14, city attorney. Any-
The only thing I will say is that Jerry got us a draft copy of the RFQ for the North Development. We're reviewing it. We should have all comments and finalized back. Hopefully early next week. Next week's a goofy week because of the 4th of July, but we're hoping to get that back, but it'll be ready to go sometime in the beginning of July.
For our first, we're only gonna have one meeting in July, so.
Yeah.
The RFQ was already approved to go
Okay.
out.
Yeah,
So we don't really
right,
need-
yeah, we're just gonna finalize. it
We're just
today.
tweaking language now,
Okay,
or at least the lawyers are tweaking language.
Yes.
Yep.
What we do.
What you do, that's what you do.
right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Number 15 is a resolution authorizing updates for the Egg Harbor City Personnel Manual. Is there a motion?
Have discussion?
Well, we'll do the motion first, then we'll have questions. Is there a motion?
Make a motion. I'll make the motion.
Motion,
I'll
second.
second.
Motion made, seconded. Questions on the motion?
I was question. The manual is very large. I had a hard time determining what was new, what was being changed and what was
Did
old.
you read the mayor's letter? Because it said it clearly what was new, old and changed.
Well, as I went through the manual, like I couldn't really, it's hard to follow where
Formatting,
that is, yeah.
yeah, formatting.
Like,
There's a
like-
table of contents.
it shows the actual changes.
So,
So I'm saying, I'm making
The
it,
one from last year,
yes.
so you could compare them. I can't put both in there. It'll be much longer.
Okay. I guess my point is, a lot of times when there's large documents that are being amended, there's usually editing notes that go alongside, so you can see that this has changed, things go in brackets, things get highlighted.
That would be the draft, but I don't have a draft.
so, Council President, I have things that were added and revised. It's a very short list.
So
I could read that,
please.
yeah, I could read
Yeah.
that, Steve. So added were the code of ethics, administrator's job description, the employees' employees' work hours and rest policy, expenses reimbursement policy, use of municipal property policy, as well as video surveillance policies. Those were added to the manual. Revised were the employment application, the number of part-time employees in the code department. As everyone knows, we added an additional part-time code enforcement officer. Use of electronic scheduling and payment platforms, which ties in with the program that we're using in the code department, and digitalizing the inspection logs in the code department. Similarly, we're going all electronic in the code department. What was removed, Steve, was the employee request for special court pay form, since we don't have a court anymore. And that was it, really.
And
That was
wasn't,
revised.
that was on the mayor's letter. You just read that off the mayor's letter, except for
But
what
I-
Kim's suggestions were,
This is the
correct?
mayor's letter. Yeah, I'm reading the mayor's letter,
So,
yeah.
so go ahead, what, Meg?
No, I was included with the resolution, second page.
What was?
The revisions and adding, yeah.
But the mayor's letter was included with the document because
Right.
Jackie copied it. The whole thing, she scanned it, right, Jack?
Yes.
Just to be clear, that's what it is. And those were, by the way, those recommendations, I got to add the new items with the exception of the camera policy, came from Angela Costigan from the JIP, the Atlantic County JIP. That's where. it
I'm
came
not, I'm not debating any changes. I'm just saying I
I'm
had a
just
hard
letting you
time,
know.
I had a hard time differentiating the different language on each of those items. I understand that there's some new things, but if there's things that are changed, it's
Well,
hard.
it's just
it's hard
it was
to
just the
read.
application. I just put, are you related to anyone that works in City Hall? That was the only change.
Okay.
Was there another one, Jared, that I'm missing?
There were minor revisions in the fact that, like I said, we added.
We don't have a
part-time
court
employee.
person anymore.
We don't have a
Right.
court. We added an employee in the code department. So these were highlighted and pointed out to me by the chair of the code committee. And then we have electronic scheduling, Calendry, or I can't pronounce it too well. And then.
That weren't my changes.
Those were correct. And then digitalizing the inspection logs, which is how we're.
So my point, there's different changes in there, not just what you did.
I just.
So it makes it hard to follow if they're not like, if it's not actually noted in the document. What's changed?
I know.
Like if you look at like legislative things, when there's edits, you can usually follow along, like this is what it used to say, this is what it's being replaced with. where this is being added.
Well, this was
That
the final copy that I made with the exception of what I got from Kim or what, what she emailed. That was supposedly the final copy and there really weren't any other changes but the application. Everything else was just brand new.
Mhm.
I just have a question. Why are we putting the amount of employees that are?
I don't know, and I don't know why we're describing.
It was in there, it was in there as 4, now we have 5, so, I mean, I didn't know, I don't know if we're removing something like that.
It was basically job descriptions that has nothing to do with civil service or anything formal that we advertise.
Yeah,
I was asked by Nanette 2 years ago to provide job descriptions for all the employees at City Hall.
Mhm.
So I'm not an expert on what they do, so I asked them to give me what they do
they're in there.
during the day,
Yep.
which is probably a million times bigger than what's on their job
Do
description.
you think it should be in there? The amount of employees?
I do not.
No,
I think.
So can I just make a suggestion? Can we table this until the next meeting?
Yeah, but we do have new employees that are gonna be given a outdated handbook.
Okay.
But why can't we just discuss, since there's a motion on the floor, what you wanna change? That would be
I don't
better.
know that I want to change it.
Do you
What I'm
need-
saying is it's hard to follow.
But if you look at the employment application and you look at job description and code enforcement,
Okay.
and look at, what's the other one, some sort of a platform that they use now that's put in there somewhere? Was that originally in there?
All digital, we're digital and, yeah.
Or was that originally in the job description?
And the reason, no, not in the job description, but the reason I think we want it in the handbook is because I've been trying to reinforce the fact that we need to use the electronic platform that we pay for with the employees.
Right, but my point was, like Steve Hadley, he would say, use the blah, blah, blah to do my job, to log this in. So was there something on there that was inserted that says, okay, so that's where I'm getting a little confused with that, but hey, whatever you want to do is fine with me, but these are the changes. And I don't see where some of them fit in. However, the only change I made was put that on the application. That was it. Everything else was brand new.
I'm not saying I don't approve of anything that you did. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying as a very, very large document,
Right.
it's just hard for me to follow where exactly all of the changes are.
Right.
Well, we have two
I
options.
agree with Steve, I had a hard time looking for some of the stuff I wanted to read.
Well, can I make a suggestion?
need
Next
a
time
real
next
format.
time that we go through this, so it's obviously it started off as a Word document. Was it printed out and scanned?
Yeah. It
Is
was
there a
PDF.
way?
PDF.
Okay, so
Scanned PDF was scanned on a machine. It wasn't.
yeah, so if we can do a conversion, like there are some free programs out there, and we probably even have it.
I have
in
it.
our system.
Document.
So I'm saying, like, if like you send it out as a PDF, which will definitely make it a smaller document,
Mhm.
and more clean, and the format is a format. But if we convert it to a PDF or use a PDF printer that way, just all electronically, it'll be a lot easier to do a Control F to be able to find. Like for me, when I saw Code of Ethics, I'm trying to do the Control F to look for Code of Ethics, and it wasn't coming up.
Did you look at the table of contents?
Yeah, it's not there. Like it was just going through pages. I finally found it like on page 23.
What did you do? What did you do? A Control F?
At Control F wouldn't show up. I even
You
put-
don't need to do that. You just
to
need
find,
to
to
look at
search
the,
for the doc, to search for the.
the way, you don't need to do that though. The way it's presented to you is in a table of contents. So it says under one of the subtitles, Employee Code of Ethics has a page number on it.
Mhm.
So I don't understand how that could not be found.
Well, I
I'm having a hard
didn't
time
see that when
finding
I
it.
was looking
It's
through.
a highlighted link, so that all the code, all the contents are all highlighted links, and you click it and it goes right to it.
That wasn't on the form I
If you
had.
had that program.
I have that.
I
Yeah.
have a tablet and a
I
telephone.
see, I see.
I am 1942.
Yeah.
That's what I own. I'm sorry. I don't have a laptop. I don't have a desktop. I have a tablet my daughter gave me, she didn't use in college, and a cell phone. That's it.
Okay,
So
we have two options here.
I'm like,
One is we can, Steve, you mentioned table.
Yeah.
Is that a motion?
I'd like to
That's a
make a
motion that would take precedent.
Yeah, make a motion to
Wait,
table.
can I say, I think we really just need to hash it out. I mean, what is it that you want that has to be tabled? Nothing else is being added?
I want-
The only thing, if you don't
I'm
want,
saying what I'm voting, that's all.
Okay.
I'm not debating anything that's in there. I'm not
Right.
saying I don't like.
I
something
still
like that.
can't, in my brain, I don't know what you're talking about, but it says clearly, if I had my I don't have it on my laptop, but it says clearly all the policies on there. Policy,
I
code of
understand.
ethics, policy,
There's policies that are being changed.
but there weren't.
Nothing was changed in the manual. It's the same that it was before.
It was added. So if you want to know what the code of ethics policy is, you cross-reference. Okay, the mayor says she added, go under the added code of ethics, you go to your table of contents, it says code of
Yeah,
ethics policy,
I'm fully aware.
and then you read it. So I'm confused.
So you didn't.
I had no problems, Mayor, with going through it myself, and I went through everything, the whole thing, and that's how I found what I needed to add to it.
Just like with the
And-
code, it's, you look in the appendix.
So like Councilwoman Hesse had
Yes.
suggestions to make changes.
She read it, she
Right, I
read
understand.
it.
I understand. So she found things that she wanted to change.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's
So
what
those things are
everybody
being
was supposed to
changed.
do.
I understand that. I understand that.
And
I'm not
Steve,
saying
I
that there's
sent
things
it
that
to
I want,
every,
excuse me, I'm speaking. I'm not saying that I want to make changes. All I'm saying is I want to fully understand any of the changes that are in the manual before I vote on. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we're gonna give employees that just started, old manual.
What
so
did you
that's
give
fine.
employees that started 6 months ago?
An old manual that was
Okay.
from 2023,
Okay.
but now that we have revisions that are important
So
to
can I ask
the
you a question?
employees.
The code of ethics, is that a brand new addition?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
this is what I'm trying to understand. Are there under your mayor's, are there changes, like say the job descriptions, are there changes, or is it everything that's listed in your letter? Are they all brand new additions, or are some of them where you changed and you tweaked what was in?
did you want to read that again, Jer?
No, I can read it. I read
You
it.
have it.
I'm not.
Okay, so
I
if
have
it says,
done.
if it says additions, that means it was added. If it says revisions, which
Revised.
is
Then you changed it.
revised, that was that.
Okay, then does, okay. then
That
I-
was
I
the
will reread it
application.
again.
Okay, we're gonna take a little order here. Councilwoman Hesse, you were saying something?
yes, and what I was saying was, I sent out all of the changes that I wanted to the code committee, so they themselves can review it. I put the page down, I put exactly what it was and what needed to be changed, what I thought needed to be changed. So anyone can respond back to me from the code committee. Then I gave it to Jerry, and he moved forward with it since there were no changes from the code committee. And that's
And
how
the
that
changes were not
transpired.
of
It wasn't
concern to
just
me.
me.
There was no issues with what Kim, she was just kind of like, make sure and be comfortable if this is in there. Because we do want the employees, which is a personnel policy, right, a personnel manual. We want the employees to use the digital platforms that we are paying for to be able to utilize them, right? So it's not really, it needs to go someplace where that directive is, and it seemed to fit well in the personnel manual.
Okay, getting back to my point before, you made a motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
You want a second?
Yes.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
This is to table, right?
Table.
Clark,
Yes.
Dash,
Yes.
Dovey,
No.
Galloway,
Yes.
Heist,
Yes.
Hesse,
No.
Keener,
No.
Timbers,
No.
yes.
It's 4-4.
I think it's 4-4.
Mayor?
No,
Okay, so that table is not active, so do we have a motion to update the manual and authorize the resolution? Is there a motion?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Discussion?
Discussion? Go ahead.
Has our attorney reviewed these changes?
I have not. I mean, I've seen the no changes on, that they send out annually, that have been adopted.
and that's where I got them from, because Angela gave them to me last year.
Yeah, they go out to everybody. So I have seen and reviewed the updated, legal policies. The other ones are.
So this was in the works before you came aboard?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So are you giving your approval your stamp of approval on these changes?
Based on the Mel changes, I mean, I think it's prudent to update the policy because you need to update it with current law.
Right?
And they require you to do that, and they actually give you a discount as you, for your deductible when you do pass the policy. So The other changes, the other revisions, I mean, they seem minor, just workplace revisions. I haven't personally reviewed them based on Jerry and the mayor's representation. It's just, you know, adding minor things to employment applications. I don't see a problem with it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, roll call, please.
Clark,
Yes.
Dash,
Yes.
Dovey,
Yes.
Galloway,
I'm going to abstain because I don't have enough information to make it a decision.
Heist,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Keener,
Yes,
Timbers.
Yes.
okay, resolution passes. Board manual is updated.
And can I ask a question, Jerry? Did you make those changes that the Kim requested?
I made the 4 to 5 change.
Mhm.
The other ones I still need to
Okay,
finalize.
so if that changes the table of contents, you'll have to revise the table of
Correct, I'm
contents.
cognizant.
And God bless you. Good
Yeah,
luck.
I know. Yeah, there was some of those areas where I couldn't change all of a sudden. for some
Yeah.
reason. So You've got like ghosts in that program.
I know.
Yeah.
I tried to get rid of them, but it wasn't happening.
No, it's not.
I mean, if you want to send it back to me, I can try to work on
No,
it.
no, I.
Cause it's yours now. It's all
Yeah, I
yours.
know.
I'm done.
That was mine.
I'm done. You can do whatever you want.
So it'll be the administrator's letter.
Yes. It
Yeah,
will
the
be.
administrators.
Number 16 on agenda is resolution, chapter 159, additional design assistance for the bikeway final design. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Or a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Questions on the resolution? Roll call, please.
Clark,
Yes.
Dash,
Yes.
Could you
Dovey,
explain
Yes.
Galloway,
that to me?
Hesse, Keener,
Yes.
Timbers.
I
Yes.
think someone's trying to ask a question. Kim, are you trying to ask a question?
Just have
I can't hear it.
You're breaking up.
Yeah.
If you want me to explain this.
Yes, I just have a
That's
question.
Sure.
About it. Is this about the bike path?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
It's
breaking up. Yes, I'm breaking up.
okay, so she's.
I guess you can't hear me at all? You
No,
can't
we
hear
can
me?
hear, we can hear you.
You're in and out.
Sorry. Forget it.
Are you a yes?
Is it the bike path?
Yes,
It-
it's
it-
for the bike path. It's the design
Thank
for the
you.
bike path. It's being funded by the state of New Jersey.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes, number 16.
I'm a yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, let me stop.
All the commotion, I'm a yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Keener,
Yes.
Timbers.
Yes.
I just.
Okay, number 17. I hope they're not all like this. Resolution authorizing the of non-fair and open contract for purchase and installation of a concrete pad.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made, second. Questions?
This is for the fitness park?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question. What's the source of the funding for this?
Grant and
All cities grant.
Small cities grant?
Roll call, please.
Clark,
Yes.
Dash,
Yes.
Dovey,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Heist,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Keener,
Yes.
Timbers.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Number 18, approval to submit NJDOT time extension for the award of LA-2023 SST Egg Harbor City Transit Path Extension, Phase 3, second extension on December 11th, 2025.
at long last.
Is it Atlantic Avenue?
Motion.
Just did the.
Second.
extensions for this, but thank you.
Okay, motion made, second. Questions?
Yeah. Brian, could you describe this project where this phase is?
Yeah, so phases 3 and 4 are, phase 3 is the extension, along Atlantic to Bremen and up Bremen to the bus stop. We applied for an extension for this and were granted it, but by the time we were granted the extension, we needed another extension, so.
And we did a bunch of them a few months ago.
Correct.
last month.
Right. So, yeah, this is just.
Okay, roll call, please.
This is it. To get the.
Clark?
Yes.
Dash,
Yes.
Dovey,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Heist,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Keener,
Yes.
Timbers.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Number 19, resolution for a lien payoff and refund overpayment of property taxes for 100% disabled veteran.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Questions? Roll call.
Clark,
Yes.
Dash.
Yes.
Jovi,
Yes.
Galloway.
Yes.
Heist,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Keener,
Yes.
Timbers.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Number 20, public hearing for ordinance number 7, 2025. Capital ordinance for the purchase of trash and recycling carts. Is there a motion to hold a public hearing?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the public hearing is open. Anyone wish to be heard? Before we do that, Jody, would you show some of those pictures that I sent you?
Sure. Sure.
One of the questions about these trash carts are the fact that we were told that everyone has these carts already. And my wife and I took a ride around town when people put out their trash the last couple of weeks. And you'll see, hopefully, what we saw. Can you go a little slower?
Sorry, yes.
Can you make it a little bigger? Or
You want a lot, Joe. So many, man.
Yeah.
Zoom.
the bottom line is, too many people have the carts.
Is that a little
That's
better?
number one. Number two,
I came off the screen. Gotta go back to it.
number two, the little. And I might.
See 'em or no?
some-
Can you
some
see the
thunder
pictures?
our-
No.
Our ACOA representative here, but I guess the blue recycling barrels were given out to people who asked for a long time. That seems to be what most people have, and they're putting both trash and recyclables in it. And our goal with this project, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn at this point. I just want to get this point across, is to encourage people to recycle more so that our tonnage in trash reduces, which would pay for this, more than pay for this program. And what we saw was just what you're seeing now, is there are trash in these recycle bins. And probably not too many recyclables in those, and it was recycle week when we took these pictures. And again, this is only 2 blocks of the town, but we did ride around, didn't take pictures everywhere, but this is what we saw. So Greg, is there any comments you want to make about the program and what you see from the ACU? Yeah, please.
I'm Greg.
Turned it on.
I did turn
It's
it
on.
on.
It's on.
Now it's on. I'm Greg Sarah, Director of Solid Waste at the Atlantic County Utilities Authority. A month ago, I guess we did the first presentation for this. So many municipalities are moving to the cart program. Collection service in general and moving towards carts. It's more efficient, whether it's a side loader or just having all the material on containers easy for the staff to do so. And the town, the city knows and other municipalities, I think this is a very difficult proposition right now, so we can make it easier, make it quicker. Reduce collection times, having everything in the cart reduces collection times. The guys are plugging all different size containers, random bags in there. So that is a huge benefit for the municipality. As was mentioned, this will increase recycling rates, which will reduce your trash tonnage. What we've seen in about 6 municipalities that we've done it in, Ventnor, Absecon, Brigantine, View Vista, Corbin City, Hamilton Township, 10% increase in recycling. So that's material that would usually be thrown in the trash, you pay for to dispose of, going to recycling, which you don't pay for to dispose of. That is a significant potential increase or potential decrease in expenditure by the city.
And Greg, not to interrupt you, but we pay $500,000, $500,000 for our tipping fees for trash. If we reduce the trash by 10%, that's $50,000 a year we would save.
Well,
potentially.
10% increase in recycling doesn't necessarily increase
Okay.
to 10%.
Because of the
increase in-
weight.
Because of the weight, so you're different piles, but a 10% increase in recycling, you are taking in material out of.
And tipping's not that whole 500,000. That's like really our whole amount that we paid.
But you have your bill list this week for May, the tipping
Yeah, it
fee.
was about 16,000, I think. was the tipping portion. So it's like, yeah, 109,
Wow.
like about, let's say approximately 200,000 is what our tipping fees might be.
There's the direct savings right there, litter mitigation too, so you're gonna reduce the amount of material that comes out of containers, gets blown around the city. It's just a nicer look, if you've been to a town that has this, you'll see it, certain towns will mandate the use of the carts, others provide them, they don't mandate them. Ventnor, for instance, does mandate the use of the cart, so if you go through Ventnor on a trash or recycling day, you'll see all the carts, same carts lined up, looks nice, looks presentable, so.
When to see this?
No.
You would not see that, correct?
So you wouldn't.
But you know, it's also up to the city on how you want to have your ordinance, if you're going to mandate the use of the carts or not, whether you buy them or not, you also would have to mandate them. But again, you know, you're gonna reduce your tonnage, which is a huge savings, increase your recycling, and potentially you would see a reduction in your collection costs because it becomes easier for us to collect these carts.
And the tonnage.
I have a question for you.
And a higher
I was
recycling
here-
tonnage.
I was sick when you were here the last time, I apologize. But I live out in the rural area of Egg Harbor. Every time we buy a brand new trash can, we go to Home Depot, we buy the pretty trash can with the lid, with the wheels, we wheel it out to the end of the road with our trash in it. Your guys come by, they take somebody comes by and they take our new trash can. And this has happened more than once. We literally have to take our trash can, spray paint it, make it look like it's 93 years old to put it out with our trash so nobody steals it. So if I wheel these carts out to the road, your pretty carts, and they're the cities, they're not mine because they're not giving them to me. I can't make them look 93 years old. When your guys take the trash and the guy behind them takes those trash cans, how do I replace them?
So the city, you'd have to reach out to the city, but if it's being used anywhere where we do collection service, we would be able to find the cart. The carts have an RFID chip. Like think about your Easy Pass, right?
Yeah.
So every time our truck drives by, it registers that, so.
Also, you would put the seal on for us,
Yeah,
right?
there would be, so, for instance, car in Ventnor showed someone in Galway, someone saw it, one of our staff members saw it in someone's backyard in Galway and said. You know, you weren't supposed to have that here, and they said, oh, I'm sorry, and went back to Ventnor. It's property of the city, so if it shows up in another town in Malacca or whatever.
But how long does that take?
Well, to see it, it depends on if someone sees it, but if it's actually used at the curb. Our truck would register the next time it gets picked up.
Okay, so then what do I do with my trash that's now piling up because
You'd have to, the city would have to, you have to reach out to the city, say my car was stolen, and the city would have to provide you that. And in the meantime, you could use another container. Actually, that depends on the ordinance the city passes for what goes to the curb.
because that's my whole thing, like, I can't tell you how many times I've had my mailbox stolen. It's what happens when you live out in the woods and, you get the quiet of the woods and no neighbors, but you also have the people who steal the things right, out from in front of your home. But
So Donna, the same situation when I was public works manager in Hampton happened all the time. And so we had extra cans, we would provide you the can, and then we have a liaison that works with us, Kenny, that works with the city. I'd let Kenny know, hey, this address had a can missing, just reported the can missing. And then everyone would be alerted, all the readers that are in the trucks, if it ends up on, if it ends up on London, it'll show up that can's not supposed to be there. We'd collect that can, bring it back to you because it would know what
the whole thing is like with the boat works out in the Sweetwater area, all those guys driving by, and they have to pick up trucks and they just,
Right, and so, right, and they'll be on occasion, doesn't happen very often, but they'll be on occasion where I don't know where my can is, can't find our can. So then it's our obligation to give you the other can. And that's really how it goes, just how it goes.
How big would this seal be on?
It could
Pretty
be
big.
pretty big, I mean,
It's pretty
yeah,
big.
pretty big on the side. of the-
So something like this can be put on the side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, property of Agriculture City.
See that on the podium? Yeah.
I mean, the container's roughly the size, so you can fit them pretty big.
How many trash cans and recycle cans would we be purchasing?
So, this isn't gonna be the exact number, but the number we got a quote for was a total of, 1,750 homes, so you'd be getting 1,750 of each.
I have one
And
more,
that would be low.
one more question, which is more for council. If we have a home that is broken up into 4 apartments, how are we working that? Like I said, I wasn't here. I apologize.
That was a big topic of the code committee. You want to report on that?
No,
No?
Yes.
Okay. And
Kim could do it.
Councilwoman Hesse, you want to report on that?
Yes. Could you repeat that question one more time, Donna?
I said if we have like a
Multi-unit.
multi-unit home, like 4 or 5 apartments, how are we working that with cans? Are they going to get, 4 or 5 cans, one for each unit?
One.
Or how's that gonna work?
Yes, it was one for each unit. That's what we have decided on. Well, one of each. One of each for each unit.
And that's those are the numbers that we provided, Greg.
And that's, again, I think there's also discussion of different potential smaller parts in
Mhm.
certain situations. So this number isn't the final number. You'll come back with exactly what you want, but this is pretty close.
And category from us, there's a 4-family house, the 4-unit house, they would get 4 of each. Yeah,
So we're purchasing 3,500 cans.
Pretty much, yeah.
The cost is $182,000. Per year, it's like $37,000 a year. It's a 5-year program with the US or ACUA, no interest. And we believe, based on history of other towns, that the recycling difference with the versus the trash will more than pay for that.
But the reason to really purchase these things is to clean up the trash in the city. And that's the bottom line, really. We can't keep going on with trash strewn territories. The other thing I think is really important, that these cards should be kept off the asphalt and put onto private property, not in the right of way. That's a problem because they're big, and if they're left on the asphalt, cars are gonna ride into them and then they're gonna get ruined. So it's up to every resident of the city to do their part to make the city a better place to live. And I've lived here for 45 years. I'm up to here with trash. And we have to do this. It has to pass. I'll freak out if it doesn't, because I'm sick of trash.
So of the 3,500 cans that we'll be purchasing, they'll be replacing, I would think 3,500 or more trash cans. Maybe even twice that many, since these are large. Are all of those maybe 7,000 trash cans, are they all recyclable?
There, yes, well, it depends on type of material it is essentially, but they can be disposed of. Typically when someone's disposing of one, it becomes complicated because our guys see a trash can out. and they
Okay.
don't know what we tell them,
So
how.
how will this be addressed, the 7,000 extra trash cans that are now not being used in the city? How will we address that?
Some people want to keep their old ones, use them for something else in their property, but if they want to get rid of them, they can advise us, we can give you language, put an X on it, put a note on it. As long as there's a note for our guys to take it, they will take it. They just need to know because they don't.
It's a 95-gallon tote, put it inside it.
We do that too. We will take it, just, we need, when this rolls out, it would make sense for the town to let everyone know the procedure, so we know to take those cards if it.
And we do
Okay.
a special collection to pick up those old cans,
Potentially.
just to get rid of them all. at one
I
time.
still have a couple more questions.
That's, just to be clear, might not want to get rid of either. I
Yeah,
can get rid of.
Sure,
all,
oh, sure, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
What if someone is handicapped to the point where they can't move a 96-gallon trash can in and out on trash day?
So
How's that?
there are smaller options in certain towns, but there's some developments that have very little space, so they do a smaller car, or again, an elderly resident, I've seen this came up recently too.
Yeah.
There's smaller car options that just need to provide with.
So, this question for the council then, so are we gonna be accommodating people that need different sizes?
I think they would be the exceptions versus the rule. I would say yes.
Okay.
This
Yeah,
came, this
and
came up in
emphasis-
another town,
Yeah.
and some of the senior citizens did complain that they didn't want to move that.
Yeah, because I can tell you right now, there's no way my
And
bike is moving a
they-
96-gallon.
They had a procedure for doing it. The person had to contact Public Works, and Public Works went out and investigated to make sure that that was the case, because there was a lot of, not a lot, but there were some people who were objecting to buying the carts in the first place. So they found out that there were very few people that needed smaller carts.
Okay, and the $82,000, where's that money coming from?
Jody, you want to report on that?
182, just.
100.
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant underneath.
The 182, we did that's what the ordinance is for, and it's from the fund balance that we have. The utility fund balance is what we funded it from.
So this is the same fund balance that we had moved 85,000 over for the budget last year or year before? Is that the same surplus in utility?
Yes.
And that actually, moving that 85,000 met with a lot of resistance, if I remember, isn't that correct? Anybody? Okay. So the $182,000 that'll be moving from the essentially the surplus from the utility, will that wipe out that utility surplus?
I'm sorry, say that again.
The $182,000 that we're gonna move out of the surplus from the utility, will that wipe out that surplus?
No.
And how much would be left?
Well, first of all, this is a 5-year program.
I
We're not
understand.
paying 182 up front.
I understand.
It's 37,000 a year.
Okay.
And so next year, if we do save, as we anticipate, we save money from the regular budget for the tipping fees. We
Okay.
would use that to pay for next year.
There's there's over $3 million in surplus and sitting
And the
there.
surplus for the utility?
Mhm.
And this 182 is just like the top number. It could be lower depending
No,
on.
that's the number.
Well,
No, but I'm saying like if we end up getting the smaller, if we have a couple residents, like it may be a drop in the bucket, but
Yeah, I
at
don't
least
think it'll
it's.
change much. Would you say that?
No, and go back to the small card issue, so typically you would issue, unless there was a circumstance you absolutely know, like a certain set of homes that you couldn't fit there, you would issue everyone a larger card, and then people don't think they can handle it, and then they're okay with it, but then you would get people that can't, and so, but typically you're gonna issue larger cards to everyone, and then as needed, you would get the smaller cards, and so.
And then, Joe, we would be involved in changing out the car. So we would get
We
64
do that
gallon
somewhere
car.
else.
Right, we'd take the 96 from them, give them the 64s, and then we would use that 96 someplace else, somewhere else.
To replace my stolen parts.
I have to say, years ago,
Donna Stone.
I don't know how many years ago was when we first started using the big parts. I was against them. I thought, why would I have that big thing? It's the best thing that we ever had. And my wife, she's out there all the time doing it. I understand.
You're
your
ever missing, I know where to look for you.
But,
No, if you were ever missing.
I mean, I have two homes in Egg Harbor City. One home absolutely needed 96 gallon totes, and they have them. I purchased them from HCBay. So I understand that there's definitely times where they're needed. My own personal house, we use maybe 30 gallon can every week. And so I don't know that my house needs a 96 gallon tote.
well, I know some people that don't put it out. every time.
Trash out for a month.
They'll put it- Yeah, you do that.
When it's halfway full.
Greg, they have them in 64s, and then do they still have 32s?
Takes a lot of time on Tuesdays.
Probably get that small also. And again, this is something we can look at the stats on some other municipalities and give you all, get this many small ones at a time.
Yeah, we did maybe a few dozen 64s and gave them out to mostly elderly people with disabilities. It wasn't a lot.
Yeah, and it doesn't take long to get these shipped either, it's like, a month, so if you need more, they can get your quick.
Okay. I just want to be careful because we are using tax dollars, so. purchase things that-
The other thing-
that may or may not want.
Steve, when you weren't at the last meeting, we did discuss how much it is if someone were to get one themselves as opposed to what it costs us individually. I think it was like $48 as opposed for the 96 gallon, as opposed to, what was it, 100 and something, Ryan?
124.
Yes. So it's a big, big difference if someone had to go out there and get one for themselves, a large one.
Okay.
And it's not even as well made as the ones that we're getting.
Okay. And what are we doing with the homes that have them already? Are they getting additional ones?
One of the things that was brought up, and I think you brought it up, Greg, the last time, that if you have a recycling bin, 93 gallon, we have stickers that you can put on the side and make that your yard trash. You know, your yard waste.
Okay.
And, that's what I know. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean.
So there's other uses.
That happens in other municipalities, people already have them, they can keep both, they can sell the other one, give it to someone else.
Okay.
I see actually people using old ones all the time while we're doing, so it's.
Okay. That's all my questions. Thank you.
And then I just have one last one. It's more of just a proposal. Piggybacking off of Councilwoman Galloway's idea about having like the specific like dump day. For our city administrator, would we be able to just maybe arrange something so that people drop it off at like the Public Works building at the garage? The trash cans that they are no longer using, that way we have one central spot and then have, you know, the ACUA come pick it up right from that one spot.
I'd get a dumpster, I'd get a dumpster from them and it would just be that.
I would just throw it in there.
Yeah, that works pretty well.
Makes sense.
Pretty good idea.
All right, that's it.
I have a question about the trash cans, once they're issued,
You may need to go off there. You have to go off.
Yeah, please come up and state your name.
We did open it to the public, but
Right.
I spoke first.
I'm sorry. The question is, once they're issued, are they going to be tracked? We're gonna be able to know who has these trash cans in case someone needed a replacement one or.
He's shaking his head yes behind you, so.
Yes.
My name's Joe Farnan also. I'm sorry, I missed that part.
So, you know, they have the RFID, which has a number attached, and all the carts will actually also have a serial number as well, so.
Okay.
Part of the services, the company that produces these carts will deliver them, and they'll have an address matched to every serial number, which ACUA will get, the city will get, so you'll know where all the carts are at. Yep.
Okay, I know we talked about if you don't need it, but is there an opt-out policy also? Personally, I won't need them. I mean, if there is like a surplus where people could use.
Why wouldn't you need it?
I have two already and I only have two people living in my house and I have about 3 of the old blue trash can, the old blue recycling cans. So, I mean, I wouldn't need it for myself, so I would rather see it go to someone.
One thing we're trying to do is clean up the alleys
Um,
so that you don't have open containers. So these containers have lids on them?
Yo, that's what I have.
Okay.
I have,
You said the old blue ones, the round.
yeah, I have them in addition
Yeah.
to.
So you wouldn't need that if you had a big one. You said you already have one.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't need one that's gonna be issued either. I mean, I would rather see it to go to a surplus or to somebody else that would need it. That's what I'm questioning. What is the opt-out, option that we're giving people?
It's not an opt-out, it would just be a interaction between you and me. You'd call me up and say, look, Jerry, I don't really need these. Can you come pick them up? We'd pick them up and then we'd use them for other uses or people who, necessarily maybe had a trash can hit by a car that got destroyed or something along those lines. Because we will have a small stockpile of cans, extras at DPW.
One thing I would
That
say to
exists.
that though is, I've been in other towns that have done this. And there's something about uniformity, having the new trash cans next to each other and down the street. That it looks really good.
No,
And not
I'm out of here. I'm there. Right, I mean, Greg helped me out years ago when I needed, the recycling. So like I said, I just don't, I don't really need it. I would rather see it go to somebody that could use it, but I don't want to have 4 trash cans as of right now. So I just wanted, in case other people don't really need it. I know we want to have people to adhere to this, which is great, and I'm fine with that. But like I said, I don't need it.
Joe, how long have you had yours?
I'm sorry,
How long have you had your cans?
probably 5 years or something.
Yeah, because we bought cans also, and I find that sometimes the handles come off.
Well,
So if I were you personally,
Mhm.
we've had ours probably for more than 5 years, and ACUA actually came and fixed the handle for him because it was their fault that they got it off. I would keep it, and if you need a replacement, you have one, because those handles aren't steady.
bringing it
My,
between all the junk that I have in there,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just.
true, yeah.
And the car, I mean, then the other thing is, well, now I'd have to leave them out.
Yeah, I leave mine out.
Want to have to do that either, so.
Ours are in our alleyway all the time. We just pull them to the terrace before they come. Mine are out all the time.
And
Joe,
I don't even put them out for like 2 weeks
Oh,
because I don't have enough trash. It's only my wife and myself, so.
Joe, my suggestion is right on the line of what Jerry said. This is Kim Hess. I'm on Zoom. I'm counsel. Is on the same line as what Jerry said. However, instead of taking, not you giving you the new trash cans, give you the new trash cans, we could take the old trash cans if they're, and maybe we could find at Public Works another use for them.
Right, I would rather see it not go to waste and to me, I'm not gonna be, I know I'm not gonna need all that, so. So I'd rather see it go to somebody or go to stay with the city. So,
Yeah, I would think like Joe said, it should be uniform. And again, if they're going to be in the way and if Jerry could take those and use them at Public Works, or, you know, there may be some other use that he can have for your old ones, not the cities. So the city, everyone will have a city trash can. So they should have that put out.
I think it's probably better that we do have a surplus anyway. So.
yeah. But why don't you order the smaller one? Get a smaller one, the small ones.
Well, I mean, I have no argument against the big ones.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that they're heavy, you know, I'm always the one that's putting them out. But I don't need the small. I'm fine right now with everything that I have. But it's to me, it's just it would be a waste for me. So I'd rather see go to a surplus. So just so the people have an option, because I'm sure there are other people that also have, they're in a similar situation.
Those of them that are out there that people have those big ones, from what I see in my travels, they're beat up. They're pretty beat up, like Lisa said.
Beat up.
I have them as
No,
well.
the other option, I use one. I have an extra one we got for yard waste.
Right.
And you just put the sticker on, it says yard waste, so then, you know what I mean? And you can always leave that out back. I mean,
Yeah.
you cut grass, you
So that's
have to
what I
put it in the
use.
bag, yeah.
That's what basically I use for
The blue one?
3 ones that I have.
Okay.
Thanks.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else wish to be heard?
There was a comment.
Oh, there is.
Ms.
Okay.
Tracy.
Tracy. All right.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Tracy.
so yeah, this is Tracy at 314 Hour Ago. So how are you gonna handle the yard waste then?
Same way it's taken care of now.
Okay, yes, use the same blue buckets. Cool. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Well, again, like we said, you could use an old container. Oh, she's gone.
I want to raise that yard waste should not go in either can. It should be completely separate.
Right, but that's what they said, there's stickers to be put on the side
Mhm.
of an old can.
And we have stickers here. They're available to.
And Greg did mention it, but we'll have parts. We'll have wheels to be able to repair. We'll have lids to be able to repair. We'll be able to get called, resident can call us at DPW. We'll go out and we'll repair their cans right there in the alley, right on spot. I've been through this long time. It's worked out great.
Anyone else wish to be heard?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing none, motion to
Can I
close
just
the
ask
public hearing.
I just have a question,
Go ahead,
not
go
a
ahead.
public hearing. But the blue totes that we now get every 2 years for free,
Yes.
can we still use not that I would need to now, because I'll have enough containers, but a lot of times one recycled container isn't enough. So-
That's up to the city. That's up
Okay.
to how you create the
Oh,
ordinance and what can go
okay.
out there.
Can we still use them, Kim?
We didn't debate that at all, but I can't see why not.
Blue equals recycling.
The blue recycling container.
But what if you put a sticker on it that says waste, which I put my waste in it, my yard waste, and they take it too, like if it's an abundance.
You could still do that.
Okay,
You could still do that.
all right.
Or you
But
could
Lisa, the bottom line is they need to use the city-owned cans first, the recycling and the trash cans. That
Gotcha.
are given, that are provided by the city first.
Okay, gotcha, thanks.
So yeah, this is Tracy. The yard waste sticker on there works really nicely for the yard waste. So I guess if the city or you can still pick them up at ACOA to show that it's not just regular recycling, that's actually yard waste.
We
works
have them
quite-
here at City
quite
Hall
nice.
too, right?
We have them here, Tracy. You can pick some up if you need more.
Greg, I have a question.
Thank you.
Give away the blue buckets
Yeah, it's.
where you have to buy them now.
Depends on, it's not as frequent, it used to be one a year.
Yeah.
It's
Every 2 years, I think it is. Is it more?
Yeah,
Yep.
you can still get them, but I think it's like 5 years.
So we want to
Wow.
save them. Hold on. to-
And they don't have lids. And if you have to buy a lid, how much is a lid?
It's like
$7.
7?
I think so.
Went down a little.
That's what they charged me when I went there.
Special.
Don't tell them.
You're special.
You'll have a bill in it.
They like you.
No, that's what it was.
Okay, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I make a motion.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, roll call for the resolution.
adopt.
Yes.
Is there a motion?
Oh, motion to adopt.
Yeah.
Carl, yes. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded.
I just have one more question, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's one more question. So if this passes and everyone gets a trash tote and a regular tote, can residents still in addition use a trash can for trash?
No. They have to use.
Have a
what we
lid.
provide them.
So we're gonna restrict,
No.
we're gonna restrict citizens from using any trash cans except for these square
Well, you
totes?
could use the ones you're being given. I mean, if you have a
That wasn't-
party,
yeah, that wasn't my
if
question.
if you have a party and you have extra trash, then yeah, you could use it.
That was my question.
Yeah.
So they can use in addition to the city totes,
Sure.
they can still use additional trash cans if they need to.
But they are to condense.
So there'll be
everything into
no
one big
penalties if
bucket.
they use an additional trash can.
No.
Is that what
No.
that-
But they need a lid. There must be a lid.
Have to be lidded.
Okay,
The lid
And
in the
that
current
already-
ordinance, the lid, Stephen, is in the current ordinance now, it
Yeah.
has to be lidded. But
absolutely.
other than that, it would be picked
My
up
lid's
on
always
regular
in my
trash
trash
cans.
Okay. All right.
Okay, back to roll call, please.
Clark,
Yes.
Dash,
Yes.
Joby,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Heist,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Keener,
Yes.
Timbers.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes or adoption of the ordinance. A motion to advertise, and that's all part of it.
Yeah, that's part of
Okay, you got it.
When will this take place?
Good question. How long will it take?
Once you put the order in, it takes about a month or less, you guys, they come pretty quick, so. We'll have to work out specifics of what you want, but it's about a month from when you order.
Great. Thank you.
For the citywide.
Thanks for coming again tonight.
Yeah,
Okay.
Greg, really.
Number 21 on the agenda is a public hearing for creating chapter 179 for the dumpster permit fee and guidelines in the code of Egg Harbor City. Is there a motion to hold a public hearing?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
And I
Opposed?
was, can I, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. I
Okay,
thought you
public
were-
hearing is open. Does anyone wish to be heard on the chapter 179?
Can I make a comment first,
Sure.
Joe? Just to remind everybody that this dumpster ordinance was recommended by the code enforcement officers who have witnessed, as I personally have witnessed, our brand new street on Chicago Avenue had a dumpster sitting on it like the very next 2 days that was not properly put on the street with pads and whatever else was needed. Okay, ruining a street that we just got done, not once, but twice, okay? And Rich said that it would be helpful if we had an ordinance for dumpster, and that in my mind was, maybe it's something else that you guys are gonna talk about, but it was the debris from the homes, like if you're doing a remodel or a roof and you have a dumpster in front of your house, it's not like dumpsters, as far as I know, that are out there now for trash. This is a specific construction dumpster.
This came
And-
up before,
Yeah,
and Mason actually brought up about the tarps and all that.
yeah.
So we tabled it,
Yeah.
and here it's back again.
Yeah, so just to be clear, if there's a question, that was requested by the code enforcement office. And it was actually suggested, which I did, I believe, put in my original letter to Chris, that Pleasantville had a very good one, if you want to model one or whatever. So whatever we have now, that's what it's. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, open to public, anyone wish to be heard on the dumpster ordinance? Second call? Third call? Okay, motion to close public hearing,
So moved.
Second.
motion made and second, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion to adopt the ordinance. for the
Make a
chapter.
motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Clark,
Yes.
Dash.
Yes.
Dovey,
Yes.
Galloway.
Yes.
Heist.
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Keener,
Yes,
Timbers.
Yes.
okay. Change in the chapter 179 is adopted. Number 22 is the bill list. Is there a motion to,
I'll move it.
Second.
motion made, seconded to pay the bills? Questions on the bills? Roll call.
Clark,
Yes.
Dash.
Yes.
Dovey,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Heist,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Keener,
Yes.
Timbers.
Yes.
Okay, number 23 is comments, Mayor.
Well, I have about 4 comments that I'd like to make, but for the sake of time, I'm just gonna not make them because I think it's pointless. But I just want to say happy 4th of July to everybody, and I hope you celebrate with just thinking about all the great things we have in our country and how fortunate we are to be Americans. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Galloway.
Yes, I want to thank the council and the public for allowing us to pass this trash container ordinance. It's been my goal since 2015 to get the city to purchase these containers. It was recommended by the Green Team in 2015, and it was proposed numerous times over the last couple of years. And I'm just ecstatic to see that it's passed. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the city cleaned up a bit. So, thank
Does this
you.
get us more points?
course it does.
No, I don't think so. No, it's not an accident.
that.
But, you know, I'm always looking for points. And I just want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July and that's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Clark.
So happy 4th of July, everyone. In the absence of Councilwoman Wright, I guess I'll make the announcement for the Crusaders. Cheer and football signups are still ongoing. We will be there every Tuesday and Thursday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Also, we are still selling tickets to the, sorry, I have this shoe stuck on the top of my head. So we are still selling tickets to the Rutgers season opener, which is happening on August 28th. A portion of each ticket sale will go directly to benefit the Crusaders. As everyone knows, 2 of our former Crusaders, the Melton brothers, went to Rutgers University and now are playing for the NFL. So we're always trying to encourage our boys and our girls, you know, to not only, you know, to have the dreams of you know, competing professionally, but also to further their education. And I'm a Rutgers alumni too, so I'm biased. So anything that promote my alma mater as well as empower the kids of Egg Harbor City, I'm for it. So please help out, even if you just buy a ticket and don't go. They're $18 with fees altogether, and we get $5 of each one. So that would be great. And information to purchase tickets is on the Crusaders Facebook page, and I'll share that on the Egg Harbor City site as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hesse, you still there?
Yes, I am. I just want to say happy 4th of July to everyone. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Heist.
Just want to say happy 4th of July. And in this heat, just be mindful of the workers out there, the public, the DPW workers, the utility workers out there. If you see them out there working, it's hot. They're outside all day. Offer them a bottle of water, offer them a Gatorade. They're out there, they're sweating, their body temperature is very high and they are dehydrating by the moment. So please be mindful if you see them out there, you know, be kind and offer them something to drink. They really would appreciate it. And just happy 4th of July, and please be safe. Fireworks are dangerous. Keep an eye on your children.
Yeah. Thank you. Councilman Dash.
Just a couple quick things. Couple shout outs to some of our local businesses. Chen's Kitchen, the new Chinese restaurant on Philadelphia Avenue. Over the last 2 months, I had the opportunity to be there, I would say probably 10 times. Great food, really great food, and extremely friendly, very friendly staff there. Also Angela's on the Avenue, No One Hungry. My family had some medical issues and I needed some medical equipment. I had phoned Angela to ask her if she had some very specific pieces of equipment. She said she did. While I was trying to make arrangements to pick it up, she said, don't worry about it. I'll have them all on your porch before you even get home from work. So very much appreciate Angela and all she does for the city. And my last thing is piggybacking on what Don said about the heat, please keep your pets inside. Know that the blacktop, if it's 80 degrees outside, that blacktop could easily be 125 degrees. That'll burn your pet's pads. So keep them hydrated, keep them in the shade. Better off just keep them inside. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank
They
you.
have sushi over there, Steve?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They do sushi, good sushi. Check it out.
Councilman Dovey?
I'd like to wish everyone a happy 4th of July and a safe 4th of July. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Timbers?
Happy 4th of July.
And I say the same thing, happy and safe 4th of July to everyone. So at this point, we'll do a public comment. Anyone wish to be heard? Number 24.
I have another question.
Go ahead.
This is for Ryan. I wanted to ask you about the Weisbecker building and the demolition and the nature of what their business was. Has any tests or studies been done prior to the demolition of that building?
So there is active remediation occurring on the site. DEP has been advancing that remediation and filing liens against the property for years. So we coordinated with them and they essentially said, if you don't disturb the ground, you'll be fine.
Okay.
So they're taking precautions for lead-based paint, asbestos, those kinds of things.
And those types of cleaning products and everything that they use of.
Well, so the cleaning products are actually the contamination is in the ground and the groundwater. So that, as long as they sort of advising, as long as we're not digging, they excavate it all.
Okay, all right. I just was hoping it was gonna come up earlier.
So that roof caved in on that building too. Can't see that from the street.
Right.
Yeah,
It's all
there's a tree growing up in the middle.
No, no.
We're saving the tree, right?
Yeah,
There you go, Nanette.
Mary?
Does it glow?
Hi, Mary Campbell, Greenberg Manor. One thing I was wondering, there's things I'd like to make donations to, like No One Hungry and maybe other similar places, and I've had major health changes and stuff, so I can't haul anything anywhere. But sometimes I have extra, and one of the things I've been concerned about, because places like that is, they're not open every day. So if I just mailed the donation like a check, what happens? And I get it, people may not know here, but like if I want to give, how can I give to a place that it's not open every day? Like what happens to that mail? Because I certainly don't want the check sticking in a street side mailbox. Because we all hear how unsafe.
Does anyone know?
But they hesitate to make a donation.
My suggestion would be is if you want to give to a nonprofit or organization, I would contact the organization, figure out how they would best accept whatever you're providing them in the most secure way that they would do it. So I would check with the individual entity by which you want to provide the donation to.
Quite work, and they said, "Oh, our mail," but as far as I know, it's like a box. So I was just wondering, yeah, but thank you. It's like, because I don't want to give it and have it lifted. But anyway, that's.
Mary, if you call them, they may just send somebody down to pick it up.
Oh, well.
Because they do pick up donations. If they have people that don't go out, they'll come by and pick up donations and stuff.
A lot of things have
Yeah.
changed for me starting last November, and
Yeah, so
things are more difficult.
she may be able to send somebody over to pick up
Okay,
something
because
from you
sometimes I
or,
do have some extra time.
yeah.
I'm mindful of those kinds of things, and sort of on the same topic, like you know, it was lovely hearing about, let's make everything cleaner and nicer, like most of you are aware of that particular property some time ago on the 400 block that was all, when that got cleaned up, I'm like, yeah, you have to walk that big building, you know? And I had just recently seen something, I don't really do that social media stuff, usually if I find something it's by accident. But I think I saw something about, you know, not just these containers, but you know, hey, you know, cut your grass and so forth. And I certainly get that. I mean, I lived in one place where the landlord had a tendency to ignore stuff, and at one point the weeds were literally over my head. But it's just something I just want to put out in the universe, and maybe even people that do that social media stuff. And it's based on something I read a long time ago. And even in light with these, there are people, like if I lived in my own individual home, I'd have one heck of a time trying to haul something out like that to curbside. And people perhaps keep cutting their grass or trimming hedges and so forth. So I do understand codes and enforcement and making it pretty, and it is nice. But one thing I just was thinking is people that make the decisions, like if you see a house that's overgrown, that's neglectful, and before any understandable consequence comes of, hey, you know, trim and clean up, perhaps find out if that home has people who are handicapped, ill, disabled, whether they're 95 or 25, because you can be 25 and have problems. And it's based on something I read some time ago. A city went after a fellow, his place was horribly overgrown, and there were, you know, all kinds of fines which he couldn't make. But what was found out, the person had had a heart attack, severe health issues, no money to hire a lawn company or anything. And when the community found out, they're like, wait a minute, city, can you hold off? And young people and other people came and they cleaned up his property, which got it up to all the codes. So I'm just saying, I don't do really, like I said, if I do it by accident, that Facebook stuff. So just a consideration, perhaps, if you find something that's not meeting the codes, whether it's lawn care or whatever, perhaps find out if, now, I'm not talking about people like, I'm referencing that landlord. He was quite able to not have the weeds taller than I am. But there could be, you know, if it's not a willful, on purpose ignoring, neglect, maybe a person in that home has a need, and the social media stuff can say, hey, you know, Joe Blow at 102 Main Street needs help with his yard. Can anybody come by? And then it would meet the codes, it would keep the town pretty, and offset any financial or penalties to the person. And even with these new trash can thingies, you know, just a consideration before any consequence comes, maybe find out.
Mary,
I get it,
Mary,
there probably won't be too many people in that situation.
Excuse
but
me.
there might be. Yes.
Excuse me, Mary, this is Kim. How are you? I just wanted to say to you, Mary, we are reaching out to people. We are letting people know, you know, what to look for. And we are, you know, the thing is, as a homeowner, there are responsibilities. And I mean, we're not being bullies about it, but there are responsibilities, and there needs to be codes for health and safety purposes. But Mary, I really do thank you for your thoughts. And we're letting people know. I mean, people are aware ahead of time. And yes, of course, the neighbors, we mentioned that as well. My neighbor, we help each other out. you know, and
All I'm
Mary,
saying.
you should know that before we issue a violation, we do
Thank you.
have a conversation with the
Oh,
property.
okay, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. Well, you know,
We-
it's
we
like
do.
the inner workings that a regular person like me don't know
Right, yeah,
anything
and of
about.
course,
So
and that's
my
true.
speech.
But we do have a conversation, if they show some type of need or temporary disability or anything like that. Of course, those considerations are provided. A lot of our properties are rentals.
Well,
They're
yeah.
individuals who collect rent, and so it's a little bit of a different situation here. But we do run across those kinds of things, and we handle it accordingly based on the situation that the individuals are dealing with at the time.
For letting me know, but like I said, that's inner workings that I.
And I can tell you, Mary, that the county had a program, I don't know how long it ran, but I did put it on Facebook that if a resident that is in need of help could get it from the county, because they have a program. So,
Yes.
Just a little, I know, but I again, it's
but, you
just.
know, you have to talk to the person, like you said, to find out.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying,
Yeah.
especially when I had seen that story of that person, and we don't know what state they were in. but-
Yeah.
Mary, if I could just say something,
Yes.
the statements that you made about, some people might need help with things like cutting grass or things like that.
You know, snow removal. and all that.
They were the most important statements I've heard tonight.
Oh,
And I want to thank you for coming up and
well,
speaking.
thank you.
We live in a very small community. We should all be helping each other.
That's my thought too, and please, Kim, I absolutely understand codes and enforcement and, you know, I can see it looking nice, because I've seen all of that and, you know, so certainly not saying it's bad to have codes, I'm just saying before a consequence happens, maybe find out if there's a need. Or if it's willful neglect, that's a whole other ballgame, but that's all I'm saying is.
Thank you.
People like me are old and handicapped and have needs, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The inner workings that I know you reach out, I appreciate that too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that wish to be heard? Please come up.
Excuse me,
Sorry.
I was gonna be on for a little bit. Excuse me. I live
We can bend that down. Maybe.
Double Gold Clean.
Yeah.
And I live in Reddenburg Manor, so. And last council meeting, you heard my daughter speak out about my dog, so. Just saying, every time I see a loose dog, I want to Okay. Not only fear for my dog, but I have a fear now, and it's a genuine fear.
Yeah.
My neighbor got attacked viciously at that in Buffalo Avenue. The other day, a dog got loose, it was on June 22nd, the dog got loose, my friend was out with his dog, I was out with my dog Romeo, and the dog was trying to get, you know, off of 6th Terrace into Wittenberg Manor parking lot. But I beat him to the sliding doors. Called 911 prior to beating the sliding doors, and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, they said they'll send someone out, no one ever came out. It's my neighbor's dog. So prior to my neighbor deciding to secure his fence, the dog got out. And then once the dog got out and he saw it, the woman that lived at the house called the dog back and the dog went back. You know, I'm not gonna say epidemic proportion, but there's loose dogs all over Great Harbor City.
Yep, I agree.
And if there is not some kind of a consequence beyond a warning, they're not gonna, you know, the owners aren't gonna do anything about it.
So if I could, Joe, I've started engaging the mail carriers in conversations as I'm driving around, writing up work orders for the DPW guys. And I'm talking to them, they are giving me indications of where loose dogs and angry dogs and not so nice dogs. Right, if anyone knows, it's the mail carrier. So there are places that we are, not the police, because I'm not, you know, police, we have a chief and she's fantastic, that we are monitoring ourselves in code as well as the DPW guys. Just to make sure that if there is a repetitive incident, that needs to come to my attention so I can address it, right? So that's what since you came up here a couple of weeks ago, that's what we've been doing. There's a property that I was reluctant to give a fence permit to, because there's some violations on the property. But I decided that we would issue the permit because there are loose dogs in the backyard and I need to be able to at least do something to contain those loose dogs. So we're making adjustments and we're looking at things a little bit differently because of some of the things that you and your daughter said a couple of weeks ago. All right?
I used to love to walk around the neighborhood.
I get it.
And I can't do it anymore, even by myself, I couldn't do it. We got to just walk, you know?
If I can make a quick
Right.
suggestion for you, so my day job is I run the Humane Society of Atlantic County. I've run that facility for the last 45 years. If you're walking your dog outside and you're concerned about other dogs coming up to you, there's one little thing that you can carry with you that can be very helpful. They make little tiny portable air horns. They have them at Walmart. They're very expensive. They use them for boats. They're small enough to put in your pocket. If a dog is coming in for a dog fight, a lot of times that blast will scare the dog off. So whether you're walking alone or you're walking with your dog, if you're afraid of a stray dog coming up to you, I definitely recommend just keeping one of those in your pocket.
Just keep firing.
And just blast it. Most of the time, it will separate a fight quickly most of the time.
Okay.
The mail
And also-
carriers
Because
have
my mace didn't
the
work.
mailmen and the mail women have them.
Yeah,
have
they
them on
say
their
mace doesn't work.
Didn't work.
I live out by past the lake. I'm out beyond the lake and we hear the coyotes all the time, especially when it's mating season and when my husband's not home. And I go out at night, I carry a boat horn with me. Because if I hear the coyotes and I feel like they're getting too close, I will sound the horn off and it gets completely silent.
And they're cheap.
So, and then,
Okay.
yeah, they're like $5, so.
It's just, but
Yeah.
thank you for the suggestion. Thank you. And I don't know if this is this is a different topic, because I do live at Rittenberg Manor and I, you know, I'm here the whole time and love to beautify the neighborhood and make things neat. And they're next to Al's Luncheonette, the eyesore greenhouse.
Yes, we've already had that discussion, but
So it's in.
yeah, that's
progression?
in works.
It's
Yeah.
in work. Okay, that's it.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thanks, Deb.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Anyone else?
Dash.
Anyone else wish to be heard?
There's myself and Moshe. Moshe, go ahead, sir, you go first.
Who is it?
Motion on.
Go ahead. Who's that on the?
Motion, man.
I said Tracy had her hand up before I did, so it really isn't fair I go before her.
Okay.
Tracy?
Oh yeah, just, did somebody say with the new that we are to use them for the regular trash as well?
What?
Or is it just for recycling?
There'll be 2 trash cans you get, one for regular trash, one for recycling.
Oh, I didn't know there was 2. Thank you, sir. That's it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Great. Anyone else up there? Yes, go ahead.
For me, my name is Moshe Math. I'm now up in Gloucester County since I saw Mayor last. I made a call today. I spoke with Nick over at Bloom Insurance to check on the dog issue because I watched the meeting remotely 2 weeks ago as I am tonight. And there are a couple of things worth noting. Renter's insurance does not allow you to have does not cover dogs and does not allow you to put a rider in for dogs. Homeowners insurance doesn't carry Rottweilers or pit bulls in homeowners policies. And if someone has an investment property, their insurance policy is similar to a homeowner's insurance policy, but unlike when you go to a restaurant and they have a special, hors d'oeuvre, whatever, the investment policy is a la carte. So it's the same thing as a homeowner's, but you're paying more because everything is separated. And even with those, again, this came from Rick Bloom, as I understand it, is Rottweilers and pit bulls are not covered under homeowners. So I don't know what these dogs are that are causing problems here, but I just wanted to know what I looked into today with a lot of patience and assistance from that company. And I have no interest in the company, but when I saw the issue, I just shuddered. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Hi, Kim Fuentes. Just want to say Jerry, you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Don't worry about what everybody says.
No, I usually don't,
Make
except
sure-
for my wife, that's it.
Remember, they're just doing it so they can get pat on the back.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it is.
I appreciate it.
That's all it is, just for show. And Joe, you keep it up. Doing a good job, and I see you brought bodyguard in here today. Stephanie's here.
The bodyguard.
All the bodyguards, we can't, what would we do without them? And again, too, whenever you send your things out, for those who have trouble reading, you might wanna try and, let them know that we have hooked on phonics. We could try to attach that, or
Absolutely.
chat, they can get that, if they don't understand, we have that.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me,
Meg, that's for you,
Naomi, excuse me,
right there, right there.
excuse me. Is that addressed towards me having a problem with reading? So you can make the comment, but you can't address it back. Okay,
Disrespect.
that's very disrespectful. You do your thing.
All right, we're gonna go to number 25 on the agenda. Need a resolution to go to executive session.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So we're gonna go into executive session. We will, I don't know how long we're gonna be in.
10 minutes.
You're welcome to stay. We will have a statement of what's discussed.
Tell them they get better anymore.
But it's up to you if you wanted to stay or not.
Everybody.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You want to make a statement, of course?
Well, yeah, the only thing I would say is, we went into closed session, discuss personnel matter, no formal action will be taken tonight based on the closed session.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Thank you.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
All right. Jody, I'm shutting the TV.
And the mic.
All right.
What?
How do we shut the mics?
All right, have a good night.
What's that?
How do we shut the mics?
Same here.
I don't know.
How do we? Oh, I shut that. I shut that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.